Do you have a list of business concepts but none of them are implemented? Do you continually begin new projects but never complete them? Do you bounce from course to course, enticed by the extravagant boasts of each? Do you own a collection of plugins and tools that you never use? Are you familiar with the shiny object syndrome? It is the inclination to pursue something new, such as a new concept, trend, or objective, rather than staying focused on the task at hand. So, if you said yes to the aforementioned questions, you might have shiny object syndrome. Welcome to Relentless Man. Hit the subscribe button, the like button, and the notification bell. Please share our channel and look out for our up-and-coming videos. Shiny object syndrome is not only the lore of crows and magpies who are supposedly attracted to shiny objects, but us men too. Shiny object syndrome is comparable to a child's attention to everything new and shiny. Compare it to an 18-month-old boy who is captivated by anything that moves or makes noise. As he approaches something he has never seen before, he is initially captivated, but loses interest as the novelty wears off. He is then drawn to the next new bright item, only to lose interest and seek out the next one. We all like new things, but when does it become a problem? Distraction lies at the core of the problem with the shiny object syndrome. You are constantly being lured to new ideas and tools at the expense of crucial duties or goals. Several problems may arise if you are continually sidetracked. You never complete tasks. This is because you are always moving on to something new instead of finishing your existing goals. When you try to do everything, you end up being competent at nothing. This is because you do not devote sufficient time to mastering a skill. There is a distinction between a beginner, an intermediate, a veteran, and an expert, and you spend too much time as a beginner since you are always switching emphasis and learning from scratch. This is distinct from creating a talent stack, which entails being competent in a number of abilities, thereby providing you with the competitive advantage. You spend an excessive amount of time on new ideas and gimmicky tools of which 95% are noise, rather than focusing on the fundamentals. Because you never become proficient at anything, you never get the benefits of a market leader. The market leader effect is the occurrence in which the victor takes everything. Most consumers will only ever be aware of the top leaders in each business, and as a result, market leaders have a substantial advantage in market share. When you are continually in search of new experiences, you spend too much time studying the fundamentals and not developing your talents. This leads you to lose out on profits associated with market leadership. As you can surmise, shiny object syndrome can set you back not only in business, but in all aspects of your life. Shiny object syndrome is the killer of success. There is no standardized definition of success. No blueprint or chart exists to follow. Success is an individual trait, and its assessment is likewise subjective. You must always keep your concept of success in mind, your prosperity when discussing success. We often fall into the trap of comparison when thinking of success. There is no use in coping with shiny object syndrome. You will never be successful if you rely on someone else's definition of assessment of success. You must clearly identify your concept, definition, or vision of success and continue on the road toward obtaining your success. There is no proper definition available for success. If you define success as having a lot of money, expensive cars, and a large home, keep this in mind and pursue it. If success means being your own boss and having leisure time, you should pursue that. Maintain a clear definition of success and change it as you age, but never try to duplicate or surpass another person's achievement. You will always be disappointed. You'll also be extremely prone to shiny object syndrome. Do you have shiny object syndrome? Is it killing your success? There are ways to beat it, and Relentless Man is going to show you 6 ways how. Stay tuned for our important number 1 tip. You'll see why later. Number 6. Understand yourself and your process. This involves perseverance, introspection, and trust. You've been doing this for a while, and you are aware of your prior successes. You have articulated what you think success to be, and that definition still stands. You know how to function. You are aware that you have times of self-doubt and lose tolerance with yourself. You also know how to overcome these barriers since you have done it before. This is a step in your process. Knowing yourself, understanding how you work and develop, and having confidence in your method will keep you focused and competent. Accepting that you must experience these tiny setbacks before you can continue ensures that you won't get intimidated, lose hope, give up, or chase after something that may be the solution. The process consists of asking questions while having the answers. Number 5. Decide how much of a benefit the shiny object can be to you. There is never a shortage of novel concepts or approaches to try out. Some of them become wildly successful. This is where you need to take an honest look at the shiny object and assess whether it is right for you at this time and for what you're doing. Will moving on from the project you're working on now to pursue the new and exciting opportunity help you develop professionally or personally? Will veering off your present course or giving up your aim hurt you in the long run? Is it worth giving up on what you've been working on to pursue this shiny object? Ask these questions and make an honest assessment of where you are and what you want. Carry out this activity in combination with the first phase, which consists of comprehending both yourself and your process. Be explicit about aims and preferences and make an educated decision. Number 4. Are your goals based on comparisons? When you started any project, you had goals in mind. You need to reevaluate your objectives every time you get distracted by a new, more appealing possibility. Are you certain that they still hold true? Do they continue to resonate with you in a way that satisfies your passion? If this is the case, then the only reason you may be considering abandoning these ambitions is because the shiny object is driving you to compare yourself to another person. If your goals were clear and well thought out before you began the project, you will be able to go back to them, reevaluate them, and rededicate yourself to achieving them. If, on the other hand, the glimmering opportunity appears and you find yourself musing over whether or not to pursue it, you might want to reconsider the objectives of the project you are currently working on. Are the goals you set for yourself going to be accomplished by the new shiny object, or are you going to give up on those goals because you're comparing yourself and your work to that of another person? Number 3. Avoid distractions. Having too many tasks going on at once is one of the simplest ways to get a bout of the shiny object syndrome. If you have a mountain of projects, all of which are in some stage of incompletion, you are more likely to suffer from shiny object syndrome. This is due to the fact that things seem incomplete and in flux, and you are looking for an escape. If you want to finish more tasks on schedule and give each one the attention it deserves, you should take on fewer projects overall. When you have a number of jobs that are accomplished, you will have a sense of accomplishment, and you will be less inclined to wander off or search for a way to avoid all of the remaining work. Number 2. Recognize the successes you have achieved. You've just wrapped up a project, and right now you're shifting your focus to the next item on your list. Stop. Take a moment to pause and reflect on what you've just accomplished. Take it all in. Tell yourself that you deserve happiness no matter what, and give yourself a prize for finishing it. If you constantly jump between different projects, you will soon get the impression that you haven't finished any of them. One will flow into the other, which will bleed into the other, which will bleed into the other, and so on and so forth, until you get the impression that you never stop working or producing, and the sensation of never-ending activity will make you susceptible to the shiny object syndrome. By dividing up the tasks into smaller chunks, celebrating its completion, and giving acknowledgement of its accomplishment, one may prevent burnout, keep your work interesting, and reduce the effects of shiny object syndrome. So, acknowledge the completion of a project, make some mental notes, have some fun, and then move on. Our number one is not only relevant to shiny object syndrome, but to various aspects of your life and mental health. Number 1. Reduce social media time. We have spoken about the dangers of comparing yourself to other people, focusing on achieving their goals rather than your own, not having faith in your approach, and not being loyal to your own idea of what constitutes a successful life. Social media is one of the biggest offenders when it comes to encouraging people to compare themselves to others. It is extremely easy to look at all the posts and words about how amazing people's lives are and forget that they aren't publishing all of the day-to-day nightmares, but rather only the good parts on social media. Because of this, it is important to remember that no one's life is genuine on social media. It's easy to get caught up comparing your life to the fantastic lifestyles that are touted and pushed on social media platforms like Facebook and Instagram. When you're at a point in your project when you feel like you're stuck and your love for it has waned a little bit, browsing social media might make you more susceptible to the shiny object syndrome. Stay away from social media completely or severely restrict the amount of time you spend on it. Do not give the fallacious ideas permission to enter your mind, since doing so might derail your creative endeavors. Do not believe the hype, and do not get distracted by the many attractive offerings that are found there. Shiny object syndrome refers to the tendency to obsess over the newest and most exciting development in a field, constantly chase after the next big thing, compare oneself to others, and adopt the aspirations of others. These behaviors are destructive to both productivity and creativity. It is not simple to break away from, and there are occasions when we become caught up in it without even realizing we are in a bind. Because of this, it is really necessary for you to have a good understanding of who you are, what you want, what your goals are, and what it means for you to be successful. Even when you apply this line of thought to commercial settings, it is simple to get preoccupied with defeating one's rivals. If, on the other hand, you limit your competition to yourself and strive to improve with each passing day, to take on increasingly challenging projects, to remain laser-focused on accomplishing your goals, and to give each endeavor your absolute best effort, the external competition will take care of itself. Be relentless in beating shiny object syndrome. Thank you for watching Relentless Man. Hit the subscribe button, the like button, and the notification bell. Please share our channel and look out for our up-and-coming videos.